Abstain from. To refrain or hold back from doing something. To maintain good health, he had to abstain from smoking and drinking alcohol. Many choose to abstain from voting when they feel their voices won't be heard. Doctors often recommend that patients abstain from sugary foods for better health. Acclimatize to. To get used to a new environment or situation. Travelers often find it challenging to acclimatize to the high altitude of the mountains. Students quickly acclimatize to the demands of university life and independent study. New employees need time to acclimatize to the company's work culture and prospects. Accuse of. To charge someone with a wrongdoing. The defendant was accused of theft by multiple witnesses during the trial last week. The journalist was accused of bias in her reporting by those who disagreed with her views. They accused him of dishonesty and corruption following the financial scandal at his company. Access to. The right to use or benefit from something. Having access to reliable internet is essential for remote work and online learning. The library card grants access to a vast collection of digital and physical paperwork. The project team needs access to confidential data to complete their analysis accurately. Accompanied by. To go along with or be present with someone. The storm was accompanied by strong winds and heavy rainfall throughout the night. The delicious meal was accompanied by a selection of fine wines from the local vineyard. The singer's performance was beautifully accompanied by a gifted pianist on the grand stage. Accord to. To give or grant something to someone. We must accord to the terms outlined in the agreement to avoid any legitimate disputes. The project was completed on time, accord to the strict deadlines imposed by management. Teachers are expected to accord to the new curriculum guidelines set by the Education Board. According to. As stated by or in agreement with. According to the weather forecast, there will be heavy snowfall over the weekend. The meeting will start promptly at 10 a.m., according to the official schedule sent out. According to her, the key to success is perseverance and continuous learning from failures. Account for. To provide a justification for something. It's important to account for all potential risks before launching a new business venture. You need to account for unexpected delays when planning large-scale events or projects. The accountant was asked to account for every transaction made during the last fiscal year. Acquainted with. To have knowledge or experience of something. They are well acquainted with each other, having worked together for several years. He became acquainted with the city's history through guided tours and local events. Before the interview, it's wise to get acquainted with the company's mission and values. Adhere to. To stick to or follow a rule, guideline, or principle. All participants must adhere to the rules of the competition to ensure fair play. He promised to adhere to the diet plan designed by his nutritionist for better health. Athletes need to adhere to strict training routines to maintain peak physical condition. Adjacent to. Situated next to or very near to something. The playground, adjacent to the school, is always filled with children after classes end. Our new office is conveniently located adjacent to the main train station in downtown. The restaurant, adjacent to the park, offers beautiful views while dining on the terrace. Affection for. A feeling of fondness or liking towards something. His affection for animals led him to volunteer at the local animal shelter every weekend. Despite their disagreements, there was always a strong affection for each other in their hearts. The artist's affection for nature was evident in the vibrant landscapes painted on his canvases. Afraid of. Feeling fear or apprehension about something. Some are afraid of failure, which prevents them from pursuing their dreams and goals. They were afraid of the unknown, but their curiosity pushed them to explore new places. She was afraid of speaking in public, which made job interviews particularly stressful for her. Agree with. To be in accordance with something. Not everyone will agree with your ideas, but it's important to voice them anyway. We should agree with the modifications if they lead to better outcomes for everyone. I completely agree with your proposal to improve the company's customer service policies. Argue with. To engage in a verbal disagreement or debate. They often argue with each other over minor issues, which escalate unnecessarily. Don't argue with someone when you're emotional, take a moment to calm down first. She tried to argue with the teacher about the unfair grading policy but was unsuccessful. Aim at. To direct one's efforts towards achieving a goal. The government aims at reduce carbon emissions by 50% over the next decade. They aim at launching the new product line before the holiday shopping season starts. The advertisement campaign aims at capturing the attention of young adults and teenagers. Admit to. To confess or acknowledge something. He was reluctant to admit to his faults, but eventually, he acknowledged his errors. They were finally willing to admit to their involvement in the controversial discussion. I must admit to not understanding the complex orders given during the training session. Akin to. Similar in nature or character to something. Her love for painting is akin to a lifelong passion she has always cherished deeply. The feeling of winning the championship was akin to achieving a long-awaited dream. His reaction to the surprise party was akin to a child's excitement on Christmas morning. Align with. Cooperation with something or someone. She decided to align with the team's strategy for better collaboration and success. The curriculum is designed to align with the latest educational standards and practices. The company's new policies align with its long-term goals of sustainability and innovation. Ambition for. A strong desire or goal to achieve something. Her ambition for excellence is evident in every scheme she undertakes at work. The young athlete's ambition for winning gold motivates her rigorous training regimen. He expressed his ambition for creating a positive impact through social entrepreneurship. Analogy between. A comparison between two things and their similarities. The teacher used an analogy between a river and time to explain the perception. There is an interesting analogy between the growth of plants and human development. She drew an analogy between the brain's functions and a computer's processing power. Angry at. Feeling strong displeasure or resentment towards. They were angry at the company for not addressing their complaints promptly. She was angry at her colleague for taking credit for the project she had spent weeks. The teacher was angry at the students for not completing their weekly assignments. Answer to. To be accountable to someone or for something. I need to answer to the committee regarding the recent financial discrepancies. The manager must answer to the board of directors for the project's performance. The lawyer carefully prepared his answer to the judge's pointed questions during the trial. Anxious for. feeling worried or eager for something to happen. She was anxious for her test results, hoping her hard work would finally pay off. He was anxious for news about his job application status after the final interview. The team was anxious for the final whistle, eager to celebrate their hard-earned victory. Apathy towards. Lack of interest or enthusiasm for something. Her apathy towards the meeting's agenda was evident from her lack of engagement. The public's apathy towards voting affects the outcome of central elections every year. The manager noticed a disturbing apathy towards safety protocols among some workers. Apologize for. To express regret for a mistake or wrongdoing. He needed to apologize for the mistakes made in the report submitted last week. She sincerely apologized for forgetting her friend's birthday amid her busy schedule. They must apologize for the offensive comments made during the heated argument. Apply for. To make a formal request or application. He needs to apply for a new passport before planning his international vacation. She decided to apply for a scholarship to study abroad and expand her education. She encouraged him to apply for the promotion and showcase his leadership abilities. Appear before. To present oneself in front of someone. She was nervous to appear before the commission to present her research findings. The CEO will appear before the media to discuss the company's latest developments. The defendant is scheduled to appear before the judge at the hearing next Tuesday. Argue about. To engage in a debate or dispute over an issue. They argue about politics regularly, which sometimes leads to heated debates. It's pointless to argue about politics when both sides are unwilling to pay attention. They argue about the best way to solve the problem, each suggesting diverse methods. Ashamed of. Feeling embarrassed or guilty about something. He's ashamed of not completing his degree despite his parents' high expectations. He felt ashamed of his actions and wanted to make amends with everyone involved. He was ashamed of the way he had treated his colleagues during the heated argument. Ask about. To inquire or seek information about something. If you're unsure about the schedule, please ask about any changes with the coordinator. She decided to ask about the new policies before signing the contract with the company. Don't hesitate to ask about any concerns regarding the project's deadlines or requirements. Aspiration 4. A strong desire or ambition to achieve something. The young artist's aspiration for fame motivates her to constantly improve her craft. Their aspiration for peace inspired the community to engage in meaningful dialogue. She has a deep aspiration for helping others through her volunteer work and dedication. Associated with. Connected or related to something or someone. The brand is associated with quality and luxury, attracting a specific type of customer. Smoking is often associated with an increased risk of developing various health issues. Certain dietary habits are associated with a reduced risk of chronic diseases like diabetes. Attribute to. To regard something as being caused by someone. She attributes her resilience and strength to the challenges she faced growing up. Scientists attribute the rapid melting of glacier to global warming and climate change. The artist's unique style is often attributed to his experiences traveling around the world. Attach to. To fasten or connect something to something else. They will attach the new component to the machine during the next upgrade. You should attach the receipt to your expense report for reimbursement purposes. Please attach the completed forms to the email before sending them to the head office. Ask for. To request or seek something. She decided to ask for a raise after successfully completing several important projects. It's important to ask for feedback to improve your performance in future presentations. She wanted to ask for more time to complete the assignment due to unexpected delays. Authority over. The power or right to control and command. The principal holds authority over the school's daily operations and staff management. The government has significant authority over the regulation of environmental policies. The committee has authority over the approval of all new policies within the organization. Aware of. Having knowledge or perception of a situation. He was not initially aware of the discrepancies in the financial report until it was too late. She was aware of the challenges ahead but remained optimistic about overcoming them. They were fully aware of the consequences but chose to proceed with their plan anyway. Based on. Grounded upon a particular idea, principle, or fact. Her decision was based on extensive research and expert opinions from various sources. The movie was based on a best-selling book, which attracted many eager fans to the theater. The company's success is based on a strong commitment to quality and customer satisfaction. Belong to. To be a member or part of a group or category. The artifacts belong to a historical period that fascinates many archaeologists today. The responsibilities of the new role clearly belong to the person with the most experience. This antique necklace belongs to my grandmother and has been passed down for generations. Believe in. To have faith in the truth or existence of something. He doesn't believe in superstitions but respects those who do without judgment. Many people believe in the power of positive thinking to improve their overall well-being. She believes in the importance of education for creating opportunities and advancing in life. Bias against. An inclination against someone or something. Bias against older employees can affect morale and productivity in the workplace. Many people are unaware of the subtle bias against certain groups in educational materials. The hiring committee faced accusations of bias against applicants from diverse backgrounds. Blind to. Unwilling to see or acknowledge something. Sometimes, we become blind to our own faults while easily judging others harshly. He was blind to the consequences of his actions, which affected everyone around him. The politician seemed blind to the public's concerns during his controversial campaign. Boast of. To talk with pride and self-satisfaction. He likes to boast of his achievements at every opportunity, which can be tiresome. The company proudly boasts of its innovative technology and cutting-edge research. He boasted of his accomplishments at the award ceremony, highlighting his triumphs. Borrow from. To take something from someone temporarily. You shouldn't borrow tools from neighbors unless you plan to return them promptly. He likes to borrow from classic literature when crafting his own unique and original stories. She decided to borrow from her savings to cover the unexpected medical expenses this month. Burst into. To suddenly begin to do, like laughing or crying. He couldn't contain his anger and burst into a heated argument during the meeting. The room burst into applause when the guest speaker finished their inspiring speech. She was so excited she burst into tears upon receiving the surprise gift from her friends. Capacity for. The ability or power to do and understand. His capacity for hard work and dedication has earned him several job promotions. Humans have an incredible capacity for adaptation to changing locations and conditions. The factory's capacity for assembly has increased mostly since the new machines arrived. Cling to. To hold on tightly or to be emotionally dependent. Some people cling to outdated beliefs, unwilling to accept new ideas or perspectives. The little child would always cling to her mother whenever she felt afraid of strangers. Despite the harsh conditions, the climbers continue to cling to hope and perseverance. Charge against. An accusation or allegation made against someone. He couldn't believe the charge against him, insisting he was completely innocent. The prosecutor presented a strong charge against the defendant in court last week. The board decided to investigate the charge against the manager for alleged misconduct. Compare with. To examine the similarities or differences between. The new model's features compare with the older versions, but it's more efficient. It's useful to compare with other businesses to gauge where you stand competitively. When you compare with others, remember that everyone has different talents and flaws. Commit to. To dedicate oneself to a cause or activity. He wasn't ready to commit to the relationship, causing tension with his partner. The company plans to commit to reducing its carbon footprint over the next decade. To achieve success, you must commit to your goals with unwavering determination. Comment on. To express an opinion or information about something. The professor asked the students to comment on the relevance of the theory today. The journalist was asked to comment on the election results during the news broadcast. Please refrain from making any comment on the situation until more details are known. Compensate for. To make up for a deficiency or loss. He tried to compensate for his lack of experience with enthusiasm and hard work. The company offered a discount to compensate for the inconvenience caused by the delay. The teacher extended the deadline to compensate for the technical difficulties students faced. Complain against. To express dissatisfaction about something. He threatened to complain against his neighbor for playing loud music late at night. The citizens united to complain against the unfair increase in property taxes this year. She didn't want to complain against her colleague, fearing potential backlash at work. Comply with. To act in accordance with a rule or order. Students are required to comply with the school's dress code during official events. Failing to comply with the guidelines could lead to serious consequences for the entire team. All employees must comply with the new safety rules starting next month without exception. Composed of. Consisting of various parts or elements. The new alloy is composed of several metals to improve its strength and durability. This team is composed of highly skilled individuals who excel in their respective roles. The board is composed of members who are dedicated to the union's mission and goals. Concentrate on. To focus all one's attention or mental effort. It's difficult to concentrate on work when there are so many distractions around. He decided to concentrate on improving his physical fitness during his summer break. We should concentrate on finding a solution rather than dwelling on the problem itself. Concur with. Be in harmony with someone or something. The board members did not concur with the CEO's decision to cut employee benefits. Historians concur with the evidence that suggests the artifact is from the 12th century. I completely concur with your opinion that teamwork is essential for the success of projects. Condemn to. To declare someone guilty and give a punishment. The court decided to condemn him to life imprisonment for the crimes he committed. He felt the unfair treatment would condemn him to a career without any real progress. They were quick to condemn the building to demolition due to severe structural damage. Conducive to. Making a certain situation or outcome likely or possible. Regular exercise and a balanced diet are conducive to maintaining a healthy lifestyle. A quiet environment is conducive to studying, allowing students to concentrate better. Positive reinforcement is conducive to improving a child's behavior and building self-esteem. Confide in. To trust someone enough to tell them a secret. You can always confide in me if you need to talk about anything troubling you. She needed to confide in her sister before making any big decisions about her future. It's important to have someone you can confide in during times of stress and uncertainty. Confuse with. To make a mistake or to cause bewilderment. People often confuse her with her twin sister because they look so much identical. The new rules might confuse with the previous ones if not clearly explained to employees. Similar packaging can confuse consumers with different products from the same brand. Consist of. To be made up or formed from specific components. The committee will consist of 5 members, including a chairperson and a secretary. The book series will consist of 7 volumes, each focusing on a different personality. The team will consist of members from various departments to ensure diverse perspectives. Consistent with. In agreement or harmony with something. The witnesses' statements were consistent with the evidence presented during the trial. His actions were consistent with his beliefs, demonstrating integrity in difficult situations. The results of the experiment are consistent with the theory offered by the research team. Contrary to. Opposite or in conflict with something. Contrary to popular belief, not all introverts are shy or socially awkward in public. Contrary to what he claimed, the evidence showed he was aware of the circumstances. The experiment results were contrary to the initial predictions made by the research team. Contrast with. To compare in order to show differences. The vibrant colors in the painting contrast with the monochrome theme of the gallery. The modern design of the building contrasts with the surrounding traditional architecture. Her calm demeanor sharply contrasts with his tendency to react impulsively to situations. Control over. The power to influence or direct people, or events. Parents often seek to have control over their children's use of technology and media. The manager has complete control over the project's budget and scheduling decisions. Governments aim to have greater control over the spread of propaganda on social media. Cope with. To manage or handle a difficult situation. She had to cope with many challenges after moving to a new nation-state alone. The community came together to cope with the aftermath of the natural catastrophe. Learning to cope with stress is fundamental for maintaining mental and physical health. Correspond with. To be in agreement or alignment with something. The colors in the painting correspond with the artist's emotions during its creation. The timeline should correspond with the project's overall objectives and deadlines. The emails need to correspond with the new guidelines set by the marketing department. Crave for. To have an intense desire or longing for something. Pregnant women often crave for unusual combinations of foods at different times. Many people crave for recognition and appreciation for their hard work and struggles. Many people crave for genuine connections and meaningful exchanges in their daily lives. Connection between. A link or relationship between two or more things. The teacher explained the connection between historical events and their impact on society. The detective found a surprising connection between the two seemingly unrelated crime scenes. Studies show a significant connection between social support and long-term recovery in patients. Cooperate with. To work jointly with others for a common purpose. The two countries agreed to cooperate with each other on climate change initiatives. To succeed, team members must cooperate with each other and share their ideas openly. Our organization strives to cooperate with international partners for mutual benefit and growth. Deal with. To handle or manage a situation, problem, or task. It is challenging to deal with difficult clients in a professional manner every day. Learning to deal with stress effectively is essential for maintaining mental well-being. Teachers often deal with various behavioral issues in the classroom throughout the year. Defend against. To protect from damage or attack. Vaccines are crucial to help defend against common diseases and prevent outbreaks. It's important to defend against cyber attacks to protect sensitive information and data. The lawyer worked tirelessly to defend against the accusations made by the prosecution. Demand for. The desire for a particular good or service. There has been a significant increase in demand for electric cars in recent years. The demand for skilled software developers continues to grow in the tech industry. The demand for organic food products has surged due to health-conscious consumers. Depend upon. Be reliant upon something or someone. Your success will largely depend upon how much effort you put into your work. Farmers depend upon good weather conditions for a bountiful harvest each season. Children depend upon their parents for guidance, support, and basic needs as they grow. Deprive of. To take something away from someone. The war has deprived many citizens of basic necessities like food and clean water. Long working hours can deprive employees of the opportunity to spend time with family. The new regulations could deprive many families of the essential financial support they need. Desire for. A strong feeling of wanting or wishing for something. The desire for adventure pushed her to travel to unknown places around the world. Her desire for success motivated her to work harder than everyone else in her class. The desire for freedom and independence led them to fight for their country's sovereignty. Detach from. To separate or disconnect from something. It can be difficult to detach from work when you're passionate about your career. The soldiers were ordered to detach from the main unit and secure the perimeter. The damaged part must be carefully detached from the device to avoid further issues. Detrimental to. Causing harm or damage to something. A lack of exercise can be detrimental to both physical and mental health over time. Excessive screen time can be detrimental to children's eyesight and overall well-being. Smoking is widely recognized as detrimental to your health and can cause severe illnesses. Deviate from. To depart from an established course or norm. Successful people often deviate from traditional paths to create their unique careers. Pilots are trained to deviate from their flight path if there are any unforeseen dangers. The new policy does not deviate from our commitment to customer satisfaction and quality. Differ from. To be unlike or distinct from something or someone. Cultural practices can differ from one region to another within the same country. The climate in the north can differ from the south, impacting agriculture and lifestyle. Personal experiences differ from person to person, influencing their perspectives on life. Distinguish between. To identify differences between two or more things. It can be hard to distinguish between identical twins unless you know them very well. It is essential to distinguish between facts and opinions when evaluating news sources. Good leaders must distinguish between what is urgent and what is important in their tasks. Disappointed at. Feeling let down or unhappy about something. She was deeply disappointed at not being chosen for the team after trying so hard. We were disappointed at the event's cancellation due to unexpected weather conditions. He felt disappointed at the lack of enthusiasm shown by his co-workers during the project. Divide into. To separate or split into parts or sections. The teacher asked the class to divide into small groups for the project discussion. After the meeting, we'll divide into committees to focus on separate tasks efficiently. The project will be divided into 3 phases to ensure smooth execution and monitoring. Expose to. To uncover or allow to be in the open air. Children should not be exposed to violent content at a young age for their well-being. You need to expose yourself to new challenges to grow both personally and professionally. Traveling can expose you to diverse cultures and ways of thinking, broadening your horizons. Expert at. Highly skilled or knowledgeable in a particular area. She is an expert at negotiating deals, always securing the best terms for her clients. He became an expert at troubleshooting technical issues after years of experience in IT. They consulted an expert at climate science to understand the impacts of global warming. Excuse from. To release someone from a duty or obligation. Employees are often excused from work for a few days after a family emergency. The student was excused from physical education classes because of a medical condition. She was excused from attending the meeting due to a prior obligation she couldn't change. Exclude from. To prevent something from being part of a group. He felt disappointed when he was excluded from the final selection of the team. They were excluded from the discussion because they were not part of the committee. The student was excluded from the group project due to his disruptive behavior in class. Exhausted with. Feeling extremely tired or worn out from something. He felt exhausted with all the traveling and long meetings during the business trip. The team is exhausted with the continuous overtime required to meet the deadline. After the marathon, the runners were exhausted with fatigue and needed rest immediately. Eager for. Having a keen desire or enthusiasm for something. He was eager for the chance to demonstrate himself in the challenging new role at work. She was eager for the new project to start, believing it would bring exciting opportunities. The children were eager for the holiday season to arrive, dreaming of gifts and festivities. Eligible for. Qualified or entitled to be chosen for something. The couple became eligible for a housing grant after meeting all the requirements. She is eligible for the scholarship due to her excellent academic performance last year. Only those who have completed the training are eligible for the certification oral exam. Emerge from. To be revealed from a place or situation. The team was able to emerge from the crisis stronger and more united than before. After months of treatment, she began to emerge from the depression that haunted her. Bright and talented students often emerge from smaller schools with strong academic skills. Engaged in. Actively involved or participating in an activity. She is currently engaged in a comprehensive training program to enhance her skills. The students were actively engaged in the classroom debate on climate change policies. They were engaged in a heated discussion about the best approach to solve the problem. Exception to. A person or thing that is excluded from a general rule. Every employee must follow the dress code, with no exception to any department. They rarely make an exception to their strict no pets policy in the apartment complex. He was granted an exception to the mandatory training due to his extensive experience. Exempt from. To be free from an obligation imposed on others. The new law exempts certain groups from paying additional taxes on their income. Students with disabilities are often exempt from standard testing requirements in schools. Seniors are often exempt from certain fees and charges in public services and transportation. Famous for. Widely known or recognized for a particular reason. The small town is famous for its annual music festival that attracts thousands of visitors. His research is famous for altering our understanding of quantum mechanics and its practical. The small town is famous for its annual Apple Festival, attracting visitors from across the country. Feed on. To obtain nourishment or sustain oneself by eating. Vampires in folklore are said to feed on the blood of the living to sustain themselves. Some people feed on negativity and drama, always looking for conflicts and arguments. Some insects feed on nectar, while others prefer to consume decomposing organic matter. Fond of. Having an affection or liking for something or someone. She was fond of telling stories about her childhood adventures in the countryside. She's quite fond of gardening and spends every weekend tending to her flower beds. He is particularly fond of classic literature and often reads novels from the 19th century. Genius for. Exceptional talent or skill in a particular area. He demonstrated a genius for understanding and applying abstract theories in physics. The chef's genius for creating unique flavors made his restaurant popular among food fans. Her genius for storytelling captivated audiences, making her a best-selling author worldwide. Hanker after. To have a strong desire or yearning for something. He hankers after the adventures he read about in books but never experienced firsthand. They hanker after luxurious items, despite knowing the importance of financial responsibility. Many people hanker after a life free from the pressures of modern technology and deadlines. Hope for. To wish for or expect a positive outcome. We hope for a quick resolution to the conflict that has disrupted our community for months. Scientists hope for a revolution in technology that will address climate change more effectively. Despite the challenges, many people hope for a brighter future and improved living conditions. Identical with. Exactly the same as something else. Her approach was nearly identical with the strategy that proved successful last year. The results were identical with our expectations, confirming the accuracy of our predictions. His ideas were practically identical with those presented in the earlier meeting by the professor. Indebted to. Owing gratitude or thanks to someone. He remains indebted to his parents for their unwavering support during tough times. She feels deeply indebted to her mentors for guiding her throughout her academic career. The community is indebted to the volunteers who tirelessly work to improve local services. Indifferent to. Having no particular interest or concern for something. He seemed indifferent to the outcome, not caring whether he won or lost the game. Despite the chaos, he remained indifferent to the noise around him and continued reading. They are indifferent to public opinion and follow their own principles regardless of criticism. Indulge in. To allow oneself to enjoy or partake in something. On weekends, he would often indulge in his favorite hobby of painting landscapes. After finishing his work, he would indulge in watching movies and enjoying a glass of wine. The wealthy tourists often indulge in luxury shopping during their trips to exotic destinations. Inferior to. Lower in quality or status compared to something else. The new model is considered inferior to the previous version in terms of performance. Some believe that online education is inferior to old-style classroom learning in certain ways. The budget options often seem inferior to more expensive, high-quality goods on the market. Inquire into. To investigate or look into a matter. He wanted to inquire into the new policy changes before making any formal decisions. The detective decided to inquire into the mysterious circumstances surrounding the case. The journalist planned to inquire into the politician's background for a comprehensive article. Long for. To have a strong desire or yearning for something. Many people long for peace and stability in times of struggle and uncertainty. The young artist longed for recognition in the art world despite his tireless efforts. The students longed for a break from their rigorous academic schedule and endless exams. Look after. To take care of or be responsible for something. They hired a reliable caretaker to look after the elderly family member during the day. She decided to look after her younger brother while their parents were away on vacation. It's important to look after your mental health as diligently as you do your physical health. Noted for. Known or recognized for a particular quality or achievement. She is noted for her innovative teaching methods and dedication to her students. The author is noted for her insightful analysis and compelling storytelling in her novels. This restaurant is noted for its exceptional seafood dishes and exquisite dining experience. Point out. To bring attention to or indicate something specific. The teacher had to point out several grammatical mistakes in the student's essay. The teacher will point out the key concepts in the lesson to aid student understanding. It's important to point out the discrepancies in the data before drawing any conclusions. Relevant to. Applicable to a particular subject or matter. Her experience is relevant to the position, making her a strong candidate for the job. It's important to stay updated on news relevant to your industry for professional growth. The research is highly relevant to current discussions on climate change and global policy. Remedy 4. A solution or cure for a problem or ailment. Finding a remedy for the economic crisis will require innovative and sustainable solutions. He was searching for a remedy for his persistent back pain without relying on medication. The doctor prescribed a remedy for her chronic headaches that involved lifestyle changes. Recover from. To return to a normal state after an illness or injury. After the surgery, he needed time to recover from the anesthesia and the operation itself. Businesses are struggling to recover from the economic downturn caused by the pandemic. They worked hard to recover from the damage caused by the unexpected flood in their area. Similar to. Having a resemblance to something or someone. The architectural design of the new building is similar to the historic structure nearby. This new software is similar to the one we used previously but has enhanced features. The twins have personalities that are quite similar to each other, often confusing people. Suffer from. To experience pain, distress, or difficulty. She continues to suffer from insomnia, despite trying various remedies and treatments. He suffers from chronic headaches that make it difficult for him to concentrate at work. Many elderly people suffer from arthritis, which affects their daily activities and mobility. Take after. Show similarity to a family member. She takes after her mother with her keen eye for fashion and stylish clothing choices. Their son takes after both parents, blending their personalities and traits quite distinctly. He takes after his grandpa, showing a similar talent for woodworking and a love for nature. Wish for. To hope for something to happen or to be true. His greatest wish for the new year was to finally achieve work-life balance and happiness. They made a collective wish for world peace during their meditation session at the retreat. Sometimes, people wish for things without considering the consequences of getting them. Worry about. To feel anxious or concerned about something. He started to worry about his job security after hearing rumors of company layoffs. We need to worry about the environmental impact of our actions on future generations. He tends to worry about every little detail, which sometimes makes him overly cautious.